Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci.
Behold his mighty hand.
Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang.
Just want to manage expectations.
Weird.
This is the worst.
The bell. The Tooch! Look at this, everyone. He's growing a beard. Look at that.
I haven't shaved since my birthday, but see, this is what it is here. My birthday was 11 days ago.
Looks like did you trim up your neck? Your neck's looking
Yeah, I did.
clean.
Well, that's what Aaron said, that they shave their necks.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
I want
you gotta, I edge it up,
Oh, shit. Well, we'll see how long this lasts.
There you
Anyway.
go.
Oh, my God. Sorry, everybody. I had terrible technical difficulties. This PC is just... No offense to the Blevins.
Effing
but I
Blevins.
think it's time. It's time. It's just... If I don't use it for a few days, like go live with it and, stream on it, then everything has to be reset. My keyboard wasn't working. I had to unplug everything, restart it. Drove me
Sit
nuts.
on it,
Drove me crazy, Scala.
I can imagine there's a bit of tension when Tucci came in backstage.
real
A little
pissed off.
flustered.
Really,
a little
really pissed
pissed.
off. I know. I'm so pissed off.
Oh, man.
Well, I poured myself a glass of scotch, and maybe that'll...
Oh, there
my
you go.
birthday scotch
What a
from
lovely
William
little
Jack
glass
Wade.
there. What kind of scotch you drinking?
Balvenie. It's a
Ooh.
single malt. My son got it for me for my birthday, which was 11 days ago. And this next guest is going to let everyone know why I know that my birthday was 11 days ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado or a don't, Senryaku, one of our editors, including myself and Jason Odom, Mr. J.C. Vaughn.
Hola.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm fine, and the 11 days ago is because your twin brother was born today.
That's right.
Longest difference between
That's right.
twins on record, and
Yes.
And also rather consistently, he is, as we say, up the river at this time.
Yes, he is. Too busy for Jerry Tucci, so but he's put away anyway. But guys, what a great guest we have today. We have two awesome guests. I'm going to bring the man of the hour in last, but why don't we bring one of the coolest guys I've ever met and had the pleasure to be on a YouTube channel. I hope he becomes one of our regulars. I know he's a very busy man. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Brawley. What's up, brother?
Whoa, glad to be
Oh,
here.
all right.
Glad to be here, sir. To you, hats off to you.
Here's to you. Here's to you. And our last guest, of course, is the writer of Senryaku, looking very small. Maybe I should get little Billy Tucci. He's looking very small for some reason. Him and Mike Barron have the same, I don't know what it is, affliction or something. But ladies and gentlemen, the writer of Senryaku, the co-creator of Blue Devil and Amethyst, amongst many other things, the man who wrote all the bios, just about all the bios for Senryaku on the bus, because none of my friends felt it important enough to send me their bio. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Cohn.
Yeah, you're right. I do look small.
Why are you so small?
I need to get closer to the. Yeah, the camera's too far away. So, okay.
We need to get Gary a camera with Zoom.
Yeah. Why is the camera so far away?
Is it out of reach of your cat? Is that the idea?
It's on top of. I have a very big monitor, and it's on top of the monitor on the
It's a very big monitor.
across my desk. So it's about 3 feet away and kind of out. But that's okay.
Yeah.
You get to see the panorama, the white wall.
Well, all right. Well, speaking of cats, I'd like to share something, if I may. You guys are cat guys. I don't know, Chris, if you're a cat guy. I have two cats. Hate one of them, love the other. They're Deb's cats, actually. I know, Old Bean, you have cats. I know
do.
that Gary Cohn, you have cats.
I do.
Scala, no cats, right?
No cats.
Mr. Brawley, do you have cats?
Yeah.
We had 2 cats, but it's sort of a tender moment. 3 weeks ago, one of them didn't come home, and he's
No.
Oh.
and they're my wife's cats. You know, I'm more of a dog guy, honestly, but
I hear
yeah, I
that.
love animals. And this
Our-
one, his name's Miles, and he was 14. He was getting a little ornery, but he's been here longer than I have. My wife and I've only been married 13 years. I got a second chance at it, and so she's pretty tore up about it. She's having dreams about him coming back. I mean, it's a sad story. But yeah, we have cats.
We're dealing with that. We had an outdoor cat we were trying to rescue, and it had become comfortable in our yard and it laid out in the driveway and stuff like that, but was still spooked enough not to get caught. And we heard that he got hit shortly before we left.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know what?
Rosina,
Gary,
Rosina's messed up about it. Her brother's having dreams about it. You know, it's just
Oh, jeez, golly, animals, man, they'll
Yeah.
tear you up.
Yep. I mean, Gary had a meatloaf that he rescued, or rescued you, right? Or did Meatloaf adopt you, Gary?
It's a long story. But,
Yeah. Well, Gary had a
Meatloaf
meatloaf.
was a fat, ballless, clawless cat who was about to be abandoned.
Mm.
And my then girlfriend at the time agreed to keep him while we found a home. And eventually we did, in fact, find a home for him.
It was your home, right?
My home, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, all right, keep him.
All right, I know, evil one. Well, we had a meatball. You had Meatloaf, we had Meatball, this cat that had this giant eye that was, I don't know what it was wrong with his eye. And it was glass, or it wasn't glass, obviously, cataract or whatever. So we had our Meatball, and he lived outside on our porch. We made a little house for him. But he was with us for a good 6-7 years, and then finally he died. And my neighbor came running out and said, Meatball is dying on my lawn, and picked him up and wrapped him in a blankie, and then he passed. But this cat, you know, a lot of people say cats have 9 lives, but I don't know if you guys have seen this cat right here. And let me see. Okay, it's being shared. Let's see if the sound should be up. Let's check this out.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. Oh, God.
No.
It looks like an experimental plane. Oh my God, a cat! Or
it's like an ultra light.
Hang on, Jimmy.
That's crazy.
yeah,
Classic.
That's just
that's crazy. That's just crazy. Scala, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
You know, but you know, animal abuse. Speaking of animal, you know, come on now, animal abuse.
Come on.
You want to talk about animal abuse? I just got to share one more thing, and then we're going to get to we'll get to the subject. We'll talk about what you guys have going on as well, because of course, you know, we like to share things. But let me go to that and find that bad boy. But while I'm looking for it, Chris, what have you been up to, brother?
Dude, you know, I run Bleeding Fool, and I do a few crowd funds with some of our friends in CG, but my main bread maker is video production. And honestly, I've been so damn busy. I don't think I've ever been so busy in all my life. I'm ready to retire from it and just do comic books full time. It's crazy.
And wouldn't that be a joy, huh?
Oh, a
To
dream
be able to
come true.
create and-
Absolute dream come true.
Yeah, we are all incredibly fortunate. For those of us who are able to make a living doing comics or working in comics, you know, Jeff does both actually.
Well, I think that, you know,
Okay, but
Hi, Chris.
I think that it's what's cool about the community is we were talking about Mark Millar the other day, said something about, oh, they need to bring the did you see the article where Mark Millar was talking about the comics industry needs the classic legendary creators to come back to save it?
Yep.
yes,
Of course,
Yeah, I
I was
read that
just
article.
thinking about you. I was thinking about a lot of our friends, and I thought, why would any of these guys want to go back to an industry that it's like going back to your ex-wife just because your old friends were like, come on, man, wouldn't it be cool if y'all got back together? I mean, you're doing so well on your own. You're pushing your own brand. You're having fun. You're being creative. You're sort of the master of your own destiny at this point, right? Who would want to go back to the grind of having to write for some character that maybe you don't even like, much less have to toe the company narrative of whatever it is? And I was listening to Rob Liefeld's podcast, which is a pretty good podcast, the other day, and he was talking about Herb Trimpe, how he had developed a friendship with Herb Trimpe. And, that's the Hulk. I mean, if you, when you think about the Hulk, you think about Herb Trimpe, if you're as old as I am, at least, right? I mean, not to put anything against Dale Keown, who is my Hulk, my favorite Hulk artist. But he said, at a certain stage in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s, Marvel told Herb Trimpe, we don't have anything for you.
Yeah.
Herb Trimpe was working as a high school art teacher.
That's right.
Yeah.
He eventually, got into seminary. I mean, and was a volunteer on 9/11, evangelical volunteer. But just a salt of the earth guy. And the only way he wound up getting back into comics was to ape Rob Liefeld, and he started getting busy again. But do you want to bastardize your own style just to work? I mean, I guess he loved the process, but I mean, I understand where Mark Millar is coming from when he says that. But dude, it's the publishers. It's not the creators. It's Marvel and DC who have problems.
Yeah.
And they've built they've established themselves where they don't put any merit. They don't pay for merit. They can't afford to, because comics is such a niche business as it is. It's not a money maker, right? Unless you are the master of your own destiny.
Right.
So I just thought it was an interesting article, and there was some discussion on another group that I was talking to earlier tonight, and of course I just think of the guys like you and Barron and Chuck Dixon and Ethan and Fraga and on and on and on. So many guys that are just not working for the mainstream publishers anymore, and they don't seem sad about it. I mean, you can grouse about what has happened or what has become of them, right? Or how they've so much potential is gone now, but so what? I mean, to me, it's almost like it should almost be almost like an ex-wife. That's fine. I don't want you to die, but I got nothing for you.
Yeah. The thing is that it seems like, again, and you were saying a couple of your friends saying, get back with your ex. It's not even your friends asking this. It's strangers.
Yeah.
Who are saying, it's not like your friends doing it. It's like, what if a bunch of strangers said, do this, even though you'll be miserable, go back to them. But the thing
to save an industry that's chewed you up and spit you out.
That's right. That is undeserving of that. And why would you want to save that industry? I look at them now, and Gary, you recall this from back almost 30 years ago, is that we looked at them as competition.
Yep.
I did. I looked at Marvel and DC, and I wanted to beat them. I enjoyed the books. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the people.
Mm-hmm.
Hang out in the city, in New York City. There was a couple of bars that we would all go to. So you had indie guys. You had, you'd be sitting there in a booth with me, Paul Pope, Mark Teixeira, and John Cassaday.
Yeah.
That's what you'd have. Or editors would be there, and you guys we'd all be hanging out, and it was a wonderful time in the industry. It really was a I don't know. I hate to say, well, I did call it the high water mark. I feel that we had hit that high water mark just before the turn of the century, and that's when people were taking chances with storytelling ideas. Yes, there were a lot of gimmicks with what were they called, die cut covers and things like that,
But whatever.
What's funny about that is when you look back at some of that stuff that we all either enjoyed or rolled our eyes at, or both, die cut covers, glow in the dark covers, all that kind of stuff like that. I was looking at one of the Wolverine issues, the die cut cover that looked, like had his claw marks on it the other day. And I go, that was cool.
Yeah,
I can step back from it now and go, that was pretty freaking great.
Yeah.
The Ghost, Billy, you and I have both done glow in the dark covers. That Ghost Rider, great cover, influenced a lot of us, and some of that stuff's just wonderful. I haven't read that article yet, and now I really need to, because I get the motivation of that article.
Me too.
It's not the creators that the business needs saving from. It's the stewards of the legacy characters. And like, I'm not here to trash anybody. I just think we've got this mini golden age going on in creator ownership, in crowdfunding, and if they're not,
God bless.
if
Thank
they're
you.
not, if they're not open
Thank you.
to it,
Yeah.
if they're not open to it, and that's maybe the problem here. I mean, listen, I was starting to have some traction in my first career. I could have drifted away from comics very easily. Original Valiant came along, and 91, 92 with 8 titles out-revenued Marvel.
Oh yeah.
And the eight may be a magic number, because 8 is what Marvel had pre-1968, because they were basically distributed by DC, and that's all they could have. And so they had to be good. And there's so many things, like, do we need 47 Batman titles?
Well, that's
DC
what
does.
Listen, we have friends who are lifelong hardcore Batman collectors who said enough is enough.
Yeah.
And the same could be said for Wolverine. Love
Yeah.
the character, bought the first miniseries. Like, I was there the first time Frank Miller ever drew Wolverine.
Loved it. It was awesome. Yeah.
You know?
The 90s, I think you're right, Billy. That was a high water mark. It was the last golden age of comics. Everybody was trying stuff. We really leaned into creator-owned books when Image took off. They were doing all the gimmicks. It was just and it was lucrative too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they were paying a decent wage to good creators. They respected the art. They respected the writers. It really was a golden age. I don't think we're ever going to get back to that, particularly with the culture being what it is now, because comics are not passive, right? They're niche, and you have to read them. Motion comics never turned into anything. That's animation. And the kids today, I mean, think about it. I've got so much content coming out every pour, whether I'm going to watch one of the streaming channels when I go to bed, sitting with the wife. We might sit on our phones, swiping up, looking at Telegram or Twitter or whatever. Or I could be reading my Bible. I could be meditating. I could be exercising. I mean, the reason I'm still into comics is because I love the art. I love the craft. I'm in post-production on this Bronze Star right now, going through Pat Broderick's pages, and we're numbering them because Mike Barron loves for the frickin' pages to be numbered, and just getting. I love every bit of it. And now, in this post 50-year-old body, I'm actually working with people who I only used to read at the bottom of the splash page. You know what I'm saying? Who they were. And it's just an exciting time for me, but it's not. I'm not going to get rich off of this.
Chris, isn't that the payoff for us, that we are friends with?
Yeah,
people who influenced us.
Yeah, for sure, or entertained us at least. Yeah,
and I've got, a really diverse crowd, and I think back to when I was first working at Lone Star, and I was already a credits junkie then, looking at everything, and truthfully, I was a Marvel kid, right? Mm-hmm. So DC was going through a really great growth period. And so I'm checking out and I see these Kaluta covers for I, Vampire. And, it's Gary. And and then the fact that I've been friends with him now for coming up on 30 years is just, it blows my mind.
Yeah, what a treat.
Yeah.
What a treat.
Hey, real quick, we have a $10 super chat.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rider. That ain't cheap. Billy, I was looking in the back issues of my local comic shop, and they got a bunch of and got Senryaku number, I don't know, whatever. Why did you and Gary tell the story in double-page spreads, and why is the Top Cow logo on the inside cover? Gary, I will address the latter if you don't mind addressing the former.
Yeah.
All right. So the latter is that I hope I've always been very secure. I think maybe sometimes a little too secure in life. Um, and so that Top Cow were really like partners with us. They did all the coloring of the. They literally Top Cow colored all the stuff. Mark Silvestri was very instrumental in actually introducing me to all the other image guys and stuff like that. And Brian Haberlin just loved the project himself. So I figured, hey, you guys are coloring the issue. Why not put your logo in there? Why not? Instead of just saying Top Cow Production, put the little Top Cow logo in there. There was room, right?
Yeah.
A nice guy.
Yeah. And Silvestri's a great guy. Haberlin's a great guy. The whole team was fantastic over there. Brad Foxhoven was the president. Just good guys, man. Just fun guys, Mike Turner and all. And I would come out to LA and hang out and, go to dinner with them. And it was a wonderful collaborative time where someone small like me and Gary and Peter and Steve Chin and Nelson Asensio were in my basement studio. Gary, remember the studio in the basement of the?
I love that studio. Yeah,
it was a great little studio. It was in a basement of a 3-story brownstone that I rented the top floor, and I rented the basement, and that became our little studio. And here we were, doing books with crossovers with the biggest comic, like one of the biggest comic stars ever. And it was just, again, it was a glorious time. And Gary, Neon Knight Rider wants to know, why did we tell the story in double page spreads?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, I'm going to grab the book real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary, please.
The conception of the book was that each of the 36 stratagems would get its own story and its own illustration created by one of these amazing artists. So if you really wanted to show that art, a double page spread was going to be the best way to do it. But given the limitations of a comic book, if you wanted to include the story too, the story was going to have to be overlaid on top of the art as best we could figure it. When I was looking at the art for the new omnibus, I was seeing that some of the artists actually knew we were going to do that and gave us the room. I was looking at the Jeff Darrow.
Jeff Darrow, absolutely.
Which is that big open space,
Yeah.
which is there for storytelling.
Yes.
And thank you. But some of them gave us no space at all that wasn't marvelous detail. And so we agonized over, what are we going to have to cover up? And we had to cover up some things. But
Yeah, so I'm going to show something. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Blevins. Hello, Dr. Blevins.
How's it going, everybody? I was
What's up?
fascinated by hearing everybody talk. Chris, awesome to meet you finally. The greatest, one of the greatest writers ever, Gary Cohn. How's it going, Gary?
it's going well. And surely you jest.
Oh, I definitely do not jest.
No, Brian, surely you jest.
Oh, I do not jest, and don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley.
I got it in there.
So I'm going to show real quick is what Gary was explaining is that this is the Senryaku book. This is St. Jim Lee's piece. And it was, thank you, Niall. Oh yeah, I did shade that too. I did do that wrong, didn't I?
No, looks good.
Oh, thanks. It's like 10 days. All right, so
It's like you're going to go in the future and save us.
Here's Jim Lee's art. So Gary, this is Gary's prose, and Gary and Peter and Mark Mads would agonize.
But this one was easy because you could do a cascade down.
Yes.
But some of them, oh my gosh, and some of them really do not read well.
And I love the idea. So we literally gave the to a point. We gave especially the big guys carte blanche to do whatever they wanted to do, how they interpreted it. So some of them, like Jim, drew their art like this. And I never had a problem with bringing the comic to centerfold style.
That was such a 90s thing, man.
Yeah, it was. And if you look, I got who's neck. Yeah, so here's Joe's neck. So here's Quesada's.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
If you see the art, I mean, it's so dynamic and all.
Yeah.
But if I may, I'm going to share my screen, Scallop. That's okay with you?
Of course, please do.
Oh, thank you. And here's what we ended up with. Now, Prayers out, healing prayers out to our indefatigable Mindy Lopkin, our designer and production manager, who is down with the vid. So she got hit with it this week, and she's a little out of sorts. And I gotta take it easy. We'll get it, we'll get it to the printer on Monday. But here's a sample of the pages, and this book will be oversized like Chris's omnibus that he had. And we wanted, my goal was to make it a very elegant presentation. I think that this is the most beautiful she book and most ambitious she comic we've ever done. And so here's here's your title page. Then here's from Gary. Gary's little, not little, but Gary going through the motions, and it's his book. So he can do whatever the hell he wants. And then we launch. So here's Gary, and then we launch into the stratagems with an introduction. And the first introduction is Mr. Cherry Blossoms, and then I drew in some of my pages in that centerfold style too. So here's the original. We'll have the original black and white scans. I still have this art.
Wow.
Great inks by Nelson Asensio. Look at all that detail he did in all the cherry blossoms and everything. Driving my poor inkers crazy. The cherry blossom.
I counted those one time.
Did you really?
No, I did not. That's a joke.
And here's the original. No, this color art was lost. So Wes Hartman came in, and Wes did a recolor job on it. But now you'll see the art as it was originally envisioned by the artist, without all the fonts, and without all the caption boxes covering it. And then, of course, here's like one of Gary's first. Here is the first stratagem: cross the sea under the concealment of broad daylight. And what that follows is then we have a bio on Jim Lee. So we'll talk about Jim, our creator, and then little notes here about the book, and then that'll go right into Jim's original art, which has never been published before. A lot of this work is never. I'd say 90% of this has never been published before because it's never been seen in its full capacity.
What a treat!
Great art by Jim Lee, and then of course,
let's see the color.
Sorry.
Let's see the color so we can contrast it.
If I get to the colors, some of the colors we were victims of technology and progression, because a lot of them were saved on old SideQuest drives. I don't even know if people know
SideQuest drives.
I don't even know if Blevin knows what that is. That's where he's born.
It's the SideQuest DSV, Under the Water with Jonathan Brandis.
Nice try there, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. All right, but
I love that dolphin.
That dolphin was the best.
Yeah, Chris, they were saved on SideQuest drives. And it just fell apart. It just disintegrated the drive or whatever. So we had to have them recolored, and I called in my pals at Hi-Fi Color Design.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And they brought Jim Lee Senryaku piece into the 21st century.
It's beautiful.
And now you can see what it looks like without those caption boxes. Right?
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it goes on, of course, and so that's what we're doing. We're giving each Gary's prose deserves its own unencumbered day in the sun, as does the art, and of course we're giving bios on everyone too. So here's the original black and white from Jimmy and Joe.
Wow.
With the blue lines and little Jimmy inked this for the color holds. He used a pink pen. Just fun, great stuff that no one's ever seen before except for me or whoever's been over my house, because they hang in my studio.
I love that process stuff, man. That's beautiful.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's just gorgeous. I mean, but look at this stuff. Look at this. Like, so, here's Joe. Jimmy's like, I'm not going to fill in all this. Well, let's see. But this just shows the professionalism of Jimmy,
Yeah.
Or Joe is that, no, we'll just reverse this.
And Joe gave it his all. I mean, you can see he spent some time on it. Great job, Joe.
Joe right there too.
Yeah, man. Go Joe.
Jimmy looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
He's got a mustache.
I just noticed that. Yeah.
But he looks exactly the same. So and then throwing a whole bunch of names of
gorgeous,
books out there and things like that, because we were all writing. Gary, do you recall we were writing this incredible wave of positivity of an independent spirit?
There was a lot going on, and we we celebrated that with a couple of books.
Yep, we sure did. We sure did. And of course, here's Jeff. So like little things I have too is I have a lot of things like this. Like here's Jeff Darrow. I don't know, Gary, if you remember this when it came into the studio.
I did when I saw it.
Yeah, it's a little note that
Yeah.
he wrote, and he's like, thanks for asking, thanks for asking, and keep up the good work. But his letter actually said, if you don't like it, let me know. I could redo it. Like Jeff
And it was
Darrow.
so good. It was just so amazingly good.
Yeah.
Gary, you had mentioned that as an example of somebody who actually was thinking about the space allotment.
Yeah, if we scroll up to the
fact-
art.
And when I was going through the copy on this book, that absolutely leapt out at me because of our discussions. We also use this, Billy. I don't know if you remember, for the She fan editions that were in the polybag
Yes.
with River Street's fan. We used this as one of the variant covers.
Yes, it was. And I told Jeff, I asked Jeff if I could use it. He was like, sure. He's like, is it gonna be in royalties? I'm like, well, no, it's a giveaway. It's a free giveaway. He's like, that's okay. I'm like, can I buy this art? And he's like, yeah. So I bought the original art from him for
It's
it.
beautiful. Yeah.
Because this is in the days, and Gary, do you remember the first time we saw a lot of this art? Because
Oh yeah.
Chris and Blevins, these are for the most part before the days of artists scanning their own artwork in. Scanners were very expensive. We didn't have one. We sent in the Top Cow.
Right.
And or in the city, there was a place in the city we used to scan in the art, and then or Comic Color out in Long Island, and then have them send the art into to the color. So the artists, we gave them our FedEx number. Some of them use it when they weren't supposed to because we had major FedEx bills of people sending art because I gave my FedEx number. But the art would come in FedEx, and I remember, Gary, it was a series of weeks or months that all of a sudden, every couple of days, another box came in.
And sometimes they were these amazing full color paintings.
Yes.
This big.
Yep. I'll get
And
to
we
that.
unwrap it and go,
You're
my
like,
God.
Oh my God! And again, here's Jeff Darrow's, as you can see, and Jeff's is on vellum.
Nice.
It wasn't on artboard; it's on a vellum. It's gorgeous. But look how clean this is. We didn't clean this artwork up or anything. And as Gary said, what a pro that he did leave enough room for Gary's caption boxes.
and then there's all that stuff on the right, all that room to tell the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And here's this is his piece.
Wow.
Look at it. Ooh la la. First she butt shot.
Yeah.
And who
Had to
cares?
happen.
Yes. So we go through it. You have, Jimmy's art, and here's the originals of Jimmy, which I own as well.
Nice.
And then, but again, a lot of the first book is all is all Hi-Fi, and Wes Hartman came in and were able to recolor these pages. This is funny, Gary, if you remember this.
There's you and me both bite.
There's me. Yeah, I'm over here. Where are you, Gary?
That looks like you too still.
Yeah, and then there I am at the bottom, blasting away.
Oh, there's Gary. Yes, there's Gary Blast right there. There's Gary, and we'll shoot each other. But Nelson Asensio, Nelson was a kid. He had to be 20 years old. I don't even know if he maybe.
I don't think he was 20 yet.
Who I met Gary and Nelson, I think the first on the same day. I did a store signing. Peter Gutierrez and I did a store signing in Queens, in Kew Gardens, and at Louis' Comic Den, or the Comic Den, or Comics Den. And I met this kid who was working at the comic shop, and he had his portfolio, and Louis like pushing him to show me his work. And it was phenomenal. I'm like, well, you want to be my assistant and start with backgrounds? And then he just turned into an incredible draftsman himself.
Yeah.
And an inker. He's an amazing inker. Look at the line art and the hair that he did. I mean,
Nelson did a she in my first sketchbook that was just phenomenal.
So good.
And like a few months later, he was even better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved on to designing toys and things
he's
like
become
that.
a big deal.
Yeah, he is. So here's Nelson's piece again. This was again brought into, if I could say what it looked like circa 1995. Let's get to that. Where are you, Nelson?
I love how vivid these colors are now.
Yeah, that looks great.
It's
So this is the
Remastered.
Omni. Are you closing this out tonight?
No, we're not closing it. No, because we're still until we get we give the numbers to the printer. Then
Okay.
we'll close it out. But it's going to the printer on Monday. So here's
Yeah.
the original colors, which was
Wow.
great for the time.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the
Oh, that's great. It's an upgrade.
yeah, it's total. I mean, there's so
And
much
it's
they've
not-
learned,
It's not covered by those caption boxes.
and it's not
Yeah,
covered
that
by
way-
If you look at that one that you just held up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there were moments when we talked about numbering the caption boxes just so that somebody could follow them because
Yeah.
we tried to get them to scan as well as possible.
Yeah.
But even so, there were times when it just was not clear.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But we didn't. Yeah, it was new. It was you know we
Yeah.
were
inventing something.
going into uncharted territory, and we were trailblazers. How's that, Gary?
We were inventing something.
Yes.
Guys, I got to bow out. I've just backed the book, so I'm going to continue my collection.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you, brother.
Um,
Sorry, I was late. Sorry, everyone. I was 15
No, it's all
minutes late.
good.
Technical
The wife's shouting at me. I got to bail. I'll try and jump on another one coming up soon, guys. Love
All right,
you.
brother,
Had
we'll have
fun.
you
Chris,
on
really
soon.
good to meet
Good to
you.
see you, Chris.
Thank
I'll
you,
be
my
right
friend.
back. I'm going to feed these two cats.
And you got a super chat here, Billy.
Oh,
Neo Knight Rider, $5. Thank you, sir. In the floppy, you can flatten and see the image, no problem. Are you designing the big omnibus to eliminate page roll? Is that even a possibility?
yes, and thank you, Neon Knight Rider, again for that $5 super chat. Yes, Mindy has been working to do, because they are double page spreads, to add spaces, to add a space, especially as we get more, closer
Gutter
to
space. Gutter space.
a what?
Gutter space.
Gutter space. Yes, so that's what she is incorporating gutter space into it, so you can see the full artwork. Then if we go though, let's get past the first issue. Look at that, Michael Baer. Jeez, great work,
Dude, I love the Dave Sim one, man.
Yeah, very, very clean. Again, another pro. But look how nice that came out. This is the original pages which we found. Now, Dave does not own. I don't think he owns a computer. He faxed, or one of the guys who runs his fan club he got it from Dave and he faxed it to me, I think, or he was able to send it to me, or some strange process, but we were able to get it. And you see the discoloration because that's the color of the pages. These are full color scans of the original work.
We tried to blend them as best we could.
We tried, yes.
We tried.
But if you go, then we'll say, like, now, if we get into issue 2, starting with Mark Silvestri's work, is Jeff Smith, and our prayers are our pal Jeff Smith,
Yes.
who suffered a heart attack last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Debbie and I were texting with Vijaya. We sent Jeff soup, and he's on the mend. He's a tough son of a bitch. So he's
Billy, I have a question about that.
Yes.
Obviously, we're all concerned to hear about Jeff, and I was more specifically interested in the soup situation. Did you text him soup? How did that
We
work?
didn't text him soup. I don't know. Debbie found a place because I'm like, we got to send him something. And Debbie said that it's like
I'm a big believer in soup, so Debbie gets kudos for that.
yeah,
He
it's like a soup.
emailed the soup.
Yeah, soup to go. Soup
Except
to go.
he didn't
Yeah,
make a good choice. He sent him cream of bacon.
No, we sent him like cream of chicken and wild rice, or maybe not cream because he had a heart attack. So it was like a nice hearty chicken noodle soup, and then an Italian wedding soup.
Oh, I love Italian wedding soup.
Too. I do.
Put a little Romano cheese in it too.
Yeah. So, but it's all healthy, all organic, and so like I said, I love the guy, man. He's been a great friend and ally to us for almost 30 years now. One of the first. Jeff is the one that introduced me to all the independent crowd.
How's he doing, Billy?
Because
What have you heard?
yeah, Debbie and Vijay. You remember Jeff and Vijay, right, Gary? And
Yeah, I'm asking how he's doing. What have you heard?
he's doing well. Apparently, he's doing. Well, you've had a heart attack, so
Been there, done that.
it's not an easy road to hoe.
No.
But he's tough, man. He's tough. He's in shape, and it's just one of those things. So we're just thinking of him, and he's such a great guy, Gary. If you recall, we had the Atomic Angels
Yeah.
party
Yeah.
Him and Vijaya flew in from Columbus just to be at the party and hang out
They
with
landed.
us.
They actually landed on the boat, right?
They
Like
landed on the ship. With the fighter pilot. No, but again, just gorgeous. Again, to see this art compared to, and no offense, Gary, you know.
None taken. I'm looking at it, and my heart sings to see it uncovered like this.
Yeah, and so here's the this is how the original one was.
And we did the best we could.
Yep, and now
And that one again reads well because it's a straight cascade. But
yes,
but
yeah.
still, look at it.
Yep, and here's mine. And then once we get into my originals, thanks to Scott. No, this was the Scott Lamke, I think, owned this one. All the artists who, all the collectors who actually bought a few of these pages, we gave them all due credit as well. Paris
I love how they came through. This one was fun. Paris and I were down in that basement for hours till about 6 a.m, chortling about it as we designed it, and he was drawing it, and I was over his shoulder. No, do this.
Yeah.
And this is honestly, this is the only one that tells a sequential story.
Oh yeah.
The others are evocative of the stratagem, but this one illustrates it.
That's a really good point, and I just think that this is a breathtaking interpretation with the colors and everything else like that.
Yeah.
And we gave the artists, we gave, Top Cat, we gave High Five, Brian and Christy Miller. We gave them the originals too as a just use it as an inspiration, just let us see, do whatever you want. Not unlike this book, because I love the idea. I feel that if you give, especially a pro, you give them creative freedom to do what they feel is best and what they're most comfortable doing or most inspired to do, you're gonna get a gosh darn fantastic piece of artwork.
Yeah.
Gary, now we get into this one. And this is your page. Did I give you back your page?
You did. It's
okay, good.
One of my mantles.
Yep, this is Gary's. This is the original colors now. This is issue 2. We were able to preserve the original colors. I believe Mark Silvestri. Yep, Silvestri's is next. So here's Mark's original black and white, with a lot of help from the great Renzini, who helped in. And these are the original colors by Brian Haberlin. So just fun. So, what I love about this, when you look at the 1990s coloring, it really is a perfect snapshot. And that's what I was writing in my introduction or my afterward, my acknowledgments, is that it's a time capsule in a way, of just an incredible time. And again, you look at 2 years earlier, 1993, and this is early 95. So this is late 94, early 95. Look how far computer coloring had come at that point from 2-3 years on. And I mean, you're looking at, I remember, so when we did this book, I brought it to my friend Elise, who had, Gary, remember Elise?
I do.
So she had a production studio in the city. And I'm like, all right, Elise, I need to take all these files now, put them all together so I can get them to make film and stuff. And I remember she was walking, Gary, holding a hard drive. And Gary, this might have been a 1 gigabyte hard drive, right? And now she's walking, holding it, and we're going. And I'm like, Elise, let me hold it. I'm like, let me hold it. First of all, she's a girl, and I don't want her. I should be carrying this thing, but because it was like a brick, it was like a shoebox. And I remember she's like, no, just let me carry it, because if you trip and fall, I'm going to flip out, because we did so much work on this book. This was for the collected edition. But again, Gary, it must have been like a gigabyte of hard drive. You look at just how times have changed. Pretty fun. But again, have you considered fold out pages? Neon Right Rider again. Thank you for another super chat, $2. That ain't cheap. We had thought about that, Gary. Remember, we want to do something. I remember something about I want to do a scroll, type of a book. And I think Jeff Vaughn's like, no one's going to buy a scroll.
And
That may have been my exact phrase.
I'm like, oh, we can get in touch with the ones you make them for the Chinese restaurant. We can make
There we go.
I think our next project should be the illustrated Torah.
They,
Jeez.
put out for the high holidays next fall.
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to come on, like, as you know, like, things have been kind of busy with me last little bit. I haven't really been able to hang and do as much as I wanted to, but I definitely wanted to come on tonight. Like I've been the producer for a lot of these last couple of books, and man, this one is absolutely incredible. I'm so happy that you let me be part of this. As always, it's just going to be another knock out of the park by you. I mean, it's so great. Like when you think about getting into the business, you think about having, your heroes or, people that were big, like draw your characters, like I think it'd be awesome to have somebody do something amazing with a character I created, but you actually had like a who's who of people coming out of the woodwork.
We did
to come together to create this absolute masterpiece. I mean, again, like a who's who. That's all I can say. I mean, it's the greatest of the greats out there drawing your character that no one even wanted to mess with to begin with. And man, I just gotta say congratulations for doing this. I think this is absolutely insane. I think it's gonna be a huge success. No, I'm not gonna cry, Evil One. Man, you've been
I gotta tell you, I have to tell you, again, Gary was there. Jeff was there. We were friends, Jeff and I. You had seen it coming together and all. You weren't in the studio with us or anything, but you were aware of it. But again, it was here we were, a year before we came up with this idea. And I think Gary and I came up with in the let's say the fall of 94, Gary, right? The fall of 94.
Yeah.
In the fall of 1993, 1 year earlier, I was broke as F. I was 6 months behind in my rent. I had, for me at that time, there was no plan B, and nothing was going to stop me from producing this comic. I didn't know it was going to take off and be what it became. But me and Peter and, enlisting my friends with Barry Orkin, one of my buddies from junior high, my college buddy, John Tartaglione, and Mary Beth, his sister, who are the son and daughter of the great John Tartaglione, longtime Marvel inker and artist, that I didn't know anyone. Gary was the most well-known of us at this time. Everyone knew who Gary was. But who the hell were we? And we just asked, and people said, okay.
We drew from who we knew. My previous moment had been 15 years earlier. And the people I knew were the people who were coming in and coming up then, circa 1980. So I reached out to Dan Jurgens and Paris Cullins and people like that, the people I knew. You knew everybody who was the young hot guns, like yourself, people who were in their 20s and were hitting the ground running, and everybody was in the blooming of their careers. And that's who you went to. And we would sit in that basement and say, who do you know? Who could do this?
Yeah.
And we'd throw out names. And we'd throw out names that were pie in the sky that maybe neither of us really knew. But let's reach out to them, see what happens.
Yeah.
And
I remember Jurgens was so busy. Jurgens was doing Superman.
Yeah.
And you're like, how about Dan Jurgens? Like, I'm not going to get Dan Jurgens. Are you kidding me? Well, hot damn, you got Dan Jurgens, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. He did a gorgeous piece. Just like, Jay Lee.
Yeah, this
one's one of my favorites.
Oh, everyone's favorite. He's an artist. He really is. We all adore Jay Lee's work. And I mean, just look at this. And
this one, if any of them didn't need color, this one didn't need color.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's all air. And you guys will see, if you look closely enough, you'll see that he's using a brush to do his blacks. It looks like it's an India ink because it's not very thick.
Yeah, there's some wash going on over here.
Yeah, airbrush. Just, and then of course this is the original colors, which were just by Haberlin. Just stunning. And again, no offense to your caption boxes or the placement of Mark Maz. and you and Peter, but man, this looks so darn good. It looks
Yeah,
so great.
yeah, just so much better.
And
Well,
then so we
Billy,
go on.
I gotta
Yeah.
go. I gotta go. Like I was saying, I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was trying to get my thought out so I could get it done, so I could tell you I gotta go. But I do appreciate you inviting me on, and
Thanks,
again,
Brian.
I look at this and I look at these amazing things that you guys have done, even the stuff that all the big things you've done, all the crossovers, all the work that you've done, and you've brought your friends along with you. You bring people with you to be part of all of this, which is just absolutely selfless. I mean, it is great. Even when I went on Peter Smetti with you, they talked what is your favorite part about doing these crowdfunding shows and everything. I was like, you get to meet these people that put it all on the line because they believe in themselves so much, and you definitely believed in yourself more than anybody else did. And you made all these things happen. Like you brought it to fruition. And it's just when you sit down and think about how many great things never get done because people never have the self-confidence, or they never take a chance on themselves. And man, you earned every bit of this, man.
Oh,
And
thank you. Just thank you, brother. I will talk to you tomorrow. But before you leave, do you like chicken nuggets?
say what?
Do you like chicken? Before you leave, do you like chicken nuggets?
I mean, I guess I like chicken nuggets.
Who doesn't? Only dino shaped.
Well, this next segue is brought to you by chicken nuggets. So everyone just stick around for this real quick, and let's give it a little share, shall we?
Oh my God. No.
Oh no!
No.
What's wrong with you? Eating my kid. Oh no!
Sorry.
No.
He starts the show by talking about
I'm sorry.
cats passing away.
I got so sad. I had to share my misery because I'm like, if I'm watching this, you guys are watching this crap.
That is hard. Like, I'm giving a heartfelt goodbye, and you show me like little baby nuggets getting eaten before they're processed.
My personal rival, these
nature
nuggets.
versus nurture. Nature versus nurture.
I'll tell you what, there's not, at least you know that it's chicken.
How did I lose you?
At least you know it's chicken,
Okay.
But again, thank you very much for inviting me on. Scala is always good to see you.
All right,
Tex,
brother.
Gary Cohn, you're a legend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's good to see you, Brian.
Come on, and Billy Tucci, I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you
All
tomorrow.
right, have a good night, Blevins.
I know, Marcus, it was terrible. But let's go back. But I digress. Let's go back to Senryaku. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I
You like
apologize.
chicken nuggets. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you. Isn't that good, Niall?
That's a good one.
Well, we got accused of being boring here, so we're not going to be boring anymore. Again, now here's the great
Best
Jim Allen. Now,
animals.
here's something that's very interesting: is that Jim's artwork was one of the few that the black and white was gone. We can't find it. I don't know if Jim has it. He couldn't find it. So what we were able to do is I was able to track down the actual. Back in the day, the books were broken down into CMYK files for the film. And for some reason, I have a CD of She Senryaku #2 of the CMYK files. I used the black file of this. The great Renzini came in and was able to touch it up a little bit, but that's what this is. This is Jim Ballin's CMYK file. The black file. They don't even make CMYK. They don't even make things for film. They don't even make film anymore. And of course, here's the original colors. Again, a perfect snapshot of the 90s with this coloring style and technique and the palette and all. But just a gorgeous piece. And Neon Knight Rider again. Scala.
I see that. Thank you, Neon Knight Rider.
Gary. Did you consider Gary? Did you consider going a poetry route before it became a She Diary? It is an idea that has a lot of potential using CG artists for a new book. CG is Comicsgate artists, so Neon Knight Rider is a part of the Comicsgate movement, which is basically a fan movement that's taking over the industry. That want to get back to storytelling. They want to be able to. They want to get back to the things that make comics great, if you will. without all the ballyhoo and tomfoolery that seems to be going along with mainly things that the mainstream are doing. But Gary, have you ever considered going a poetry route?
That would necessitate me thinking I was a good poet. And poetry is hard. So no, I wanted to tell these stories this way. And I had an insight when I was looking at all this, and Billy went with it, which was, why are all these stories, everything that has been done with She has been first person narrative. And for the first time in 30 years, I asked why. And what I came up with, retconning stuff, was she's been keeping diaries all along. And it turns out, based on the dedication, she didn't know it at the time when she was 20, but she knows now when she's almost 50 that she was doing it for her daughter. So we have a dedication at the beginning of the book from Anna to her daughter saying, I didn't realize it at the time, but I've been telling all these stories for you.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah.
So while I think I turn a good phrase now and then, and I've dabbled in poetry, no, I wouldn't dare to try to do something on a grand scale that was in poetry.
Gary, I found a typo right here.
What's that?
It says, "Come on, Anna, you can't catch me taunting my big brother Toro." Toro's actually her little brother.
Was he really? I thought
yes,
he was
this is
older.
something we never ever. He was. If you look at it's she number one where she's standing with him. He's little. He's smaller than her.
Oh, okay. Okay. I had always thought that he was the older child.
Billy,
yes.
So fix it.
Do you realize that we just saved that error by Mindy having COVID?
Yes, I think so. I think
there you go.
Thanks to the Tide Bombs.
We got a super chat from Evil One. Thank you. How much of this omnibus are you going to spoil for me?
Okay.
What would be spoiling? It's you're going to have it and see it, and it's going to be yours, and a little bit. It's not like we're ruining the plot.
Yeah. No, we're good. This is more of an akin to an artist and writer and artist edition. But and a lot of extras at the end. But yeah, I'm not gonna go through the whole. Joe Jusko.
You got another
$10
super chat.
That really would have worked well. I would have taken my great mastery of the form and applied it to this.
You would have no room to tell that your stratagem with that. But the book is $60, but it looks like it's going to have a $99 cover price. So for the She Gatecrasher book, our next Indiegogo, and Kickstarter, which is launching in October by J.C. Vaughn and myself, that we will offer that book again. But once this campaign closes, I think the cover price is going to be $99 for the book. It's 240 pages, oversized, and there's only like 1,000 of them made.
And it's going to be freaking gorgeous.
Yeah. So that's the bottom line. Paul Taylor, thank you for your Canadian $10 super chat. Thanks for the sneak peek of this, gentleman. I am even looking forward to reading this more now. Hail CG. And Gary's poetry for She would have to be in haiku. That's right. Which is even harder than Western poetry.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron Sleeper. You want to read this one, Scalawags?
There we go. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Any possibility on a She Ancestors omnibus, Heaven and Earth, and East Wind Rain? Also, I got an idea you and Gary can have for free. Free idea.
We like
nothing's free, William.
What I say to anybody who wants to tell me an idea, even if it's for something like that's mine, is make it your own and run with your own idea. My ideas, my problem, the reason why I still play in comics at all is because I can't turn off all the damn ideas.
Yeah.
And if I could just stop having ideas, I could be a much happier man. So if somebody else wants to share their idea with me, I would rather see them do something with it themselves.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt because that's a really good point from. But look at this. This is something we have discussed, Billy.
Yes, we do. Victoria Cross. We have a, we have a.
I got to run. I got to go pick up Rosina. At the
Oh,
train.
all right. Well, come back. I'm sorry I didn't share Al Capone Vampire. Will you come back?
Guys are chatting when I get back. I'll come back on. Otherwise, I'll see you. I'll see you soon.
We'll show
right,
it though.
buddy.
We'll
I'm
still
sorry
go.
for
We'll
late.
still show off the campaign.
Thank
Yeah,
you
we'll
very
show
much, Niall.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciated. Chris put us over on the second stretch goal on Indiegogo, and so it was already a nice evening, and we've got another week on the Kickstarter. Indiegogo ends tomorrow, and Kickstarter ends next Friday.
Nice.
Oh, excellent. All right, we'll share that for tonight for sure.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
we did say she gay crasher, Nicholas Gear. Thank you for the $5 super chat.
Thanks, Nicholas. See you guys later.
Bye, Jeff. We'll see you in a bit.
See you, JC.
All right. Something and thank you so much, William Sleeper. But again, same thing. Keep your ideas. I do have a steampunk character, Victoria Cross, that I might be moving into diesel punk. I'm really getting into diesel punk now. But yes, Evil One, thank you so much. Flood us with super chats. Last week we had a record 23 super chats. So thank you, everyone. That was one for the ages. That was a great show. But there's something I have to share, if I can, with this.
What's going to happen to this type of animal now?
Well, you got to understand. So the original Senryaku was 96 pages, all 36 stratagems and extras. This book is 240 pages. So it's way bigger. Not quite three times as large, but almost.
Should I mention the idea I keep badgering you about?
What's that?
I think that there should be another edition that's just the stories. And
Yep. With a nice, Debbie and I were talking about that, Gary, with a nice leather-like cover.
Right, because they're already typeset, so you've got them. You've got them. You just need to put them together.
Yes, that is in the works, my brother.
Awesome, great.
But just a little thing. This will be the last little. There's so many things that have never been published before, but here's one that I think must be shared. It's a fun tidbit. It's for Frank Frazetta. We were honored to have Frank Frazetta do the cover for us, and that remember, Gary, that turned everyone on their heads that we got Frank Frazetta to do a cover. And I just asked him. He said, "Okay, sure."
I think it might be his last cover for anything.
No, he didn't. No, he did Harris Vampirella cover afterwards.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, but I think it was his first comic cover in decades.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then everyone's like, "Oh my God, Frazetta will do a cover." Then he did. Veronica had Jaguar God. He did a couple of covers for them.
Okay.
But we're showing things like so beneath Frank's bio here, you will have his art. Here is the original. Here's the file of Frank's original art that he sent to us. And if you look at it, this is the original art. It's in a frame, of course. I put in a frame when I scanned it and everything because I owned this. I bought this from him. But he painted this in his granddaughter's watercolor set. And I think within 24 hours of me picking it up, because I had to go pick it up from him, and by the time I got home, the red had all faded. It just disappeared. So the people at Quebec Corps is like, this doesn't work or whatever, and we could punch up. So this ends up becoming the cover.
Yeah.
But for the first time ever, you will see the original cover as it is, and this is in a UV coated frame. But it just disappeared.
In her alternate white uniform.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, I like it too. But that's that. But
cool.
just what a
was
wonderful.
it Sarah's watercolor set?
What?
Was it Sarah's?
No, it wasn't Sarah. I think it was. She told me which one of her cousins it was. It was. It wasn't. Was it Danielle? No, I don't know who it was. I forget. But it wasn't. Sarah lived in Florida at the time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I'm so glad that we found this. That I was able to fix. The Toro.
Yeah.
Thing. That's huge, especially with the new She book coming out. That would screw up the entire She continuity and universe.
Oops.
So, but but again, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to share the campaign real quick. It's doing really well. Oh my God, printing prices, Scala, son of a bitch.
Dude, they're unbelievable.
Because we were supposed to have this. San Diego messed me up. So this book was supposed to be delivered at the end of July to them, or August 4th, because of San Diego, because some changes we made, because some more extras that we found that we added to it. Now the book is going to be printed. It's going to the printer on Monday. Man, that damn the printing went up 5%, Gary.
In a month.
In less than a month. In 3 weeks.
Wow.
Today's the 20th, not even 3 weeks from August 1st to August 20th. My God. But it is the way of the world today, isn't it? So, but here we are, the She Senryaku Omnibus. We're over $108,000. Thank you, guys. So appreciative of this because it's so expensive to make this book. Yeah, Gary, I had to pay you. I know I didn't pay you yet.
Well, I always trust you on compensation.
Yes, I will. We will. I promise. But Scala, I'm gonna show the video. Okay.
Yeah, let's watch it. I haven't seen it in a while.
I haven't either. Text is awesome. I love this part. Excellent. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times, brother.
Incredible.
Yep.
So thank you, guys. Thank you all for supporting us. We totally dig you guys. The book, again, here's the Frank Frazetta dust jacket that was unlocked. 10 or 11 stretch goals have been unlocked. We don't know how to thank you all enough. Gary, I got to tell you, I think this is our most ambitious comic to date, but it really is. It's got to be the most beautiful book I've ever been a part of.
Yep.
And it's an honor. So
The time capsule, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And we dedicated it to those creators who are no longer with us, namely Frank Frazetta, Jason Pearson, and George Perez, who were just, again, the time that, that it's just incredible that a small group of chaps, if you will, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Gary was the oldest at the ripe old age of 42, I think.
44. I was the old man. You might remember that in a crew full of T-shirts, I adopted suits.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was the guy in the suit.
And I'm 17 years older than you are now than when we first met.
Yeah.
or so, whatever it is, 13 years. I don't know how old, whatever. I'm 57.
Yeah. Okay.
44. Is that
You're
13?
13 years
13 years older.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm quite a bit older.
yeah, but you look great. You're a fencing master. You are a yoga master. You're just a master of your domain.
I try. I live for my
Here we
dad.
go. Another $2 super.
Ever want to do a
Knight
comic about
Rider.
the knight in the logo? Well, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, it was just a cool image. I don't know. I was thinking of something to do. And I don't know why Crusade. I just like knights. I always loved King Arthur, the Arthurian knights. Of course, I think I've come up with dozens of better ideas. Title.
Well, you were on a crusade, Billy.
I was on a crusade.
You changed the industry.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, here's an interesting story. So, okay, I'll tell this story. Evil One, thank you for the $2 super chat. You should have gotten Stephen Hughes to do a piece. We did ask Stephen Hughes to do a piece. Stephen had asked how much I was paying Jim Lee, or he asked who's the highest paid person on this? Who you paying the highest? Steve was very business, right? And he's like, well, who you pay? Who's the highest paid artist on this book? And I said, well, Jim Lee. And he's like, how much is Jim Lee charging you? And I said, $750. He goes, I'll do it for $1,000.
Wow.
What did we pay? I did Jim Lee. And I was like, well, okay, sure, that's what you want, sure, you know. And then when we sent him the strategy, he was like, yeah, I'm just too behind my deadlines. I can't do it. I think he just wanted to see that I would pay more than Jim.
Give him some bragging rights.
He's a different breed. But, you know, Stephen was also in his late 40s at the time. So he wasn't some young, you know, nut job like us as well. He was, you know, he was a pro. So he's like, yeah, who's the highest paid guy? Because I want to be the highest paid artist on this. Because he was riding high with Lady Death at the time and stuff. God, gotta love him. And I'm like, okay, sure. Is that what you want? Sure. And but then he was just too far behind in deadlines. Him and I think he and Dave Stevens are the only ones that we asked that couldn't do it or wouldn't do it. Dave was like,
I love the story about how we tried to bribe Dave Stevens.
And what did we try to do?
I was with Paula. Paula's hated stepfather died. We went through his stuff, and what did we find but an envelope of black and white nudie photographs he had taken of Betty Page.
That's right.
Because she used to go to photography clubs in the 1950s, these little hole in the wall, and guys would all take pictures of her. And we had all these pictures, and we took what we decided were the best ones, and we sent them to Dave. Just as, here, this is a gift from us to you.
Yeah.
And we figured that will do it. That will get him to do it, and he's still too busy.
Yeah, he's like. I remember talking to him on the phone, and we became friends and all. And,
yeah,
he's like, Billy, he's like, I'm gonna screw you over on this. He was like, I'm gonna screw you over on this. Like, I'm working on this. I think he was working on a movie or something.
But he was very appreciative of the Betty Page photos.
Yeah, and he was just like, I'm gonna screw you over. I'm not gonna deliver it. I'm like, when do you need it? Well, hold it. You can do the third issue. You know, he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'd like to, but. And what I thought, Gary, is I should have hit him in San Diego and just paid him for a commission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he would have owed me, and I could have just been like, just draw here's my comics, draw my character any way you want.
Right. And we'll just use it. We'll find a way to use it.
And then we would have used it, of course. But guys, again, thank you all so much for this. Deborah and I are so appreciative of this. This book goes to press next week. Well, it goes to the printer next week. We're going to get proofs from it, Gary. JC and I are going to go over the hard copy of the proofs.
Good. You'll see something. You'll find something.
You know, and back in the day, do you remember back in the day the proofs? They were free. They would send you a proof to look at.
Yeah, Blue Line.
Yep, not anymore.
No.
It's like $1,000.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So we're looking to see if I could send it to my buddy Dave, a small printer who does all of our small print runs, our specialty comics, and see if we can get him to print it for us. Like, here's the files. Can you print this and let me look at it? Okay. Even API sent us proofs for free. But what are you going to do? Senryaku Omnibus Edition. We will be closing. The book goes to the printer next week. I guess Monday. We'll get the only thing I have to solidify for this book is for Mindy to send the final files, but she's down with with the vid, and for Deborah and I to agree on what our price is going to be. Because of the cost, she wants to do $99. I'd like to do $79, but it's just getting more and more expensive. And we're using, Gary, top of the line everything, stitching, bind. We have the bookmark that's inside of it, the dust jacket, high quality, very, very thick paper, interior paper. This is something that we want to last forever. And this is our stab at immortality, my friend.
Yeah. It's like probably the best thing I'll ever write.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know about that, but here we go. Another super chat. Thank you, Mario Ruiz.
It's a Mario.
Mario, thank you. Closing the tab for the evening. Congratulations, Billy and Gary. Shout out to Scala. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you. All right, now, I'm going to ask the chat now something. So my wife and I had an impasse today about not a friendly thing. Is that I'm doing a book for we're doing a special 90 limited to 99 editions for the Tucson Comic Con. So I did these two roughs real quick, and I put it out there. And Debbie likes this one, right? It's a cowboy theme. She'll be in colors of the Arizona flag, which is red, yellow, and blues. The cute cowboy hat. She got her 6 guns, Gary. If she has 2 guns, I'm definitely going to give one of them. Give her the volcanic revolver. Why not? I love that gun. And then here's the one that I can't. This is the second one I did, which I like better. Now I was giving her that samurai sword because it's cheap, but it's really just it's the art of war is really just a book on all of my art. And I wonder, what do you guys think? Gary,
I like the second one better, but the first one for the con, it's a little more all ages friendly, right? Not as seductive of a pose.
Did you see my suggestion on Facebook about doing it as a triptych?
I saw that.
Yeah, but then I got to print 3 books.
Well,
boy, I really
front
messed
and
this
back
up, didn't
cover.
I, Scala?
No, you trimmed it. You just edged it here. That's fine.
No, look I look like a Guido or something. Look at this.
Oh,
well, I guess it didn't grow.
Well, bring
here.
it down from the top and
yeah,
give yourself a nice little chin strap.
Yeah.
Gary, what do you think?
You remember how I used to wear it before I shaved? So I don't know. Just let
you
it
don't care.
for a
None
while.
of you guys care.
Let
I
it
don't care
fill out
either.
for a while and then shape it.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at my little salt and peppers. I got some greys over here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But none on the top.
No, I got a little bit on. I think this side. I got one like here, like a baby Reed Richards. All right, enough of this.
Baby Reed Richards.
Enough of that. Silly. So, what do you guys think? You like the second one? Had a rifle. Paul Taylor. I could put a rifle, a Winchester in her hand. She's pulling the Winchester out.
Oh, that would be even better.
Yeah,
I could put a Winchester in this one too.
I like it like this. She's like this. She's like this. She's like this.
Yes. And blasting away.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know.
If I was going for just one, I'd go for the smiling one.
You would. I'm going to do a Winchester right here. Look, I'm going to draw a Winchester right now, Gary. You ready?
We can't see.
I'm drawing it. They have a straight stock. It doesn't have a what kind of stock? What do they call it?
I know what you're talking about.
It's a the stock is called a Moroccan stock. If I can do this, hang on, let me fix. Hang on, I'm giving it the big loop for the Chuck Connors Rifleman. Gary, do you care? You don't care.
I love that show. I love that rifle. I probably had a toy of that when I was a kid.
Well, I like the Have Gun Will Travel. I love watching that show now.
I hooked you on it, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. The Man in Black.
Yep. And Richard Boone, that face, huh? That face. My goodness. He's an actual descendant of Daniel Boone.
Yeah, I know that.
So here you go. So I just did that, right? You can pull a Winchester out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That adds so much more to it.
Oh, God, stop. Right.
I'm serious. It does. We're going to have to go with number 2, Billy. We're all going number 2 tonight.
We're all going number 2 eventually. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci, Gary Cohn. Thank you for joining us. Little
Yes.
tiny
Pleasure.
Gary
Always
Cohn.
an honor to have Gary on.
It really is, my friend. Thank you for doing this book. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of it. And again, it literally brings tears to my eyes when I went over it when I was writing my acknowledgments. Because I think back of, and I actually didn't add that to my little acknowledgments. Maybe I should have.
Yeah, you should have.
I should. I think I'm going to add that to it.
What's
Gary, I'm
that?
going to add another paragraph tomorrow.
About
That, I think of going through these pages, and I think a year before, we actually conceived of this book, I was so poor. I was,
Yeah.
and I had nothing. And now here I am working with all of my heroes.
Yeah.
I'm going to add that line. I'll put it in red, Gary, and I'll send it to you if you care.
heroes and friends.
Yes,
And
exactly.
new friends, mostly.
So, Gary, anything you want to talk? You want to pitch? What to talk about?
UtterlyRidiculousProductions.com with a UDDERLEY. Utterly.
Utterly, like a
cow's
cow
eye.
udders.
Go to UtterlyRidiculousProductions.com or URP.com will probably take you there too.
Excellent.
And just
Scala?
see what we've got.
Anything, Scala, you want to talk about? Anything coming on Pop XP?
Oh, we're gonna have 2 crowdfunding specials next week. Bunch of people hit me up, some good creators. So I think I'm gonna do one Monday night, and we're gonna do one Wednesday night because we're not gonna have a Thursday night live with Bill Tucci.
There's
next
no
week.
Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci for this week, next week, or the week after, because I have the Tucson Comic Con next week, and then I have Baltimore Comic Con the week after, and so we will not have that. We will return, I guess, on the 16th. Is it?
Oh, and if anybody's in the DC area and wants to see me on Saturday, I'll be at Mike Federali's Fairfax convention on Saturday. I'll be an Utterly Ridiculous booth, but I'll still be Gary Cohn too.
Excellent.
And then we're gonna be Steven Siminos's Boom Show will be live Tuesday with David Spurlock.
Oh, there you go.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I love Dave Spurlock. I haven't seen him in a long time. It's been a month of Sundays.
So we're gonna chat with him for about an hour.
He's got good stories. Ask him to tell the story about Gil Kane and Jim Starlin when Jim Starlin caught Gil selling his original art in San Diego.
All right.
I don't know if you know that story, Gary.
I do not.
Jim Starlin turned in pages on like Wednesday for a new book at Marvel and flew to San Diego Comic-Con, and he's on the floor Friday and he sees his art at a dealer's booth that he just turned in 2-3 days earlier. He goes, "Where'd you get that art from?" I just finished this page this week over the weekend. And he goes, "Oh, from Gil Kane." And he's right there. And Jim ran up. I don't want to spoil the story, but Jim confronted Gil Kane.
That is funny.
So, all right, guys, thank you all. Scalawags, you want to take us out with the
Let's go. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you again, Gary.
See you guys soon. Thanks.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.